All right, the headphones are coming on. If you are new to ChessBoxing, you're wondering what the headphones are. We do put on noise-canceling headphones in order for coaching to be more difficult from either the crowd or a coach during chess.
Or commentators, for that matter.
Or commentators, because we are talking about chess positions that could give hints to what to do or not to do. And in some promotions around the world, not only are there noise-canceling headphones, they actually have music playing inside of them. So that Smells Like Teen Spirit that we just heard, sometimes that's blasting in the ears.
I was told that there's hard rock this time.
I like it, yeah. So they're taking a page out of the Finnish book. We were at an event in Helsinki in 2019 where they played death metal in the ears of every fighter.
I would actually put a veto down there because I that happened to me once in London, and I must admit that it really put me off because I like funky music, you know.
Yeah, the music is something that's a little controversial when the rule set comes into play. And right now it's up to the promotion, but if it were up to me, I think it should be up to the fighters to agree.
Most definitely. We will come to an agreement.
They're the ones completing. Yeah.
So this is a London system. I know we can't see very well because of the DGT, but it's symmetrical. The knight on c6, if you see this is a knight on c6, this is slightly inaccuracy in this type of system.
And we for the black pieces, we have the light square bishop outside of the pawn chain, so it looks almost like a Slav, although that c pawn is not out.
It remains a London in the sense that c pawn for white is on c3 rather than c4. But it's, for me, especially this knight on c6, which gives me a little hint that actually black might be improvising a bit here, not really knowing because there's no pressure on this pawn. You see, if the pawn, if it was behind his pawn and the pawn was on c5, he would actually be pressuring it, meaning that the other ones, maybe not to win it, but maybe the other pawns, the structure would be fixed at that point.
Poking, prodding, almost like a jab, trying to find a hole in the defense of the opponent.
Well, this is it. It's like people think, oh, you attack a piece to win it. No, you don't. You attack a piece because maybe you're getting a tempo on a piece. Maybe you're fixing another piece to the defense. So there are a whole load of reasons that you're going to attack something.
And in terms of advantages right now, there is a time advantage for our French fighter with the black pieces, and there is a positional advantage for white. Pieces are more developed and working better together. The black pieces have doubled pawns on the c-file. Queen is kind of awkwardly positioned.
Oh, that's a pawn, I believe. That is a pawn on h3 that was just snatched off the board immediately. So he's definitely very tactically aware. And you see that knight business that I was talking about earlier, that's been solved by itself because white exchanged his active knight for it. So
I just had a chess lesson. Shout out to Deepak, Aaron, and your friend, GM.
I have many GM friends.
I'm blanking. My lack of sleep is coming into play here. Well, anyway.
What nationality is he?
He's Russian.
He's Russian.
Timur
Gariev.
Timur. Yeah, there we go. Timur. So anyway, what they said about exchanging is you don't want to exchange a piece, a good piece, for a piece that's bad. So that knight wasn't doing a whole lot. The light square bishop, the light square bishop was really good, and it was an improper trade. So, how would you assess this now? 10 seconds left in the round. Has black clawed its way back, or are we even?
I think black is doing fine, and I think that the main issue once again is with time, meaning that he's got a slight edge with a good time advantage. And he's having. Now, I know the German fighter, we've seen him before in set. He fought against Paul Duche.
Against Paul, that's right. This is Leo.
Yeah, and he's had a very good evolution in his boxing. I follow him on Instagram. I don't know what his @ is, but you could probably find him. And we could see that he's very implicated and evolving very fast. Even the chess is looking half decent there.
Yeah, and fantastic athlete, great build, very new to chess boxing and combat sports in general.
Exactly, that was surprising.
That showed in set, but I talked to his coach, also from Berlin, head of chess boxing Berlin, Juppy, and he was saying how much improvement and how motivating the loss in May was in preparation for the World Championship. So he's had about 5 months to improve upon his performance, and we're about to see what the fruits of that labor are. So seconds out. Bell's about to ring. Ref signals good to go. Gloves touch, and here we go.
I love this calm.
A lead cross from our French fighter. Oh, a good cross lands for Leo.
He's looking proper boxing style. Taking it nice and slow.
Yep, I like the duck and roll from the French fighter. Showed some defensive acumen there. Getting underneath the jab of Leo. Throwing a good counter there, too. Rolling underneath, kind of sidestepping, almost like a matador sidesteps a bull. And throwing a counter right that wobbled Leo.
Matador. How would you get this analogy of the matador, Matt?
You know, being in chess boxing circles, it brings back some old memories, maybe some old versions of myself.
The French fighter needs to keep his distance much more. He's doing well at distance. He's doing terribly when he's getting up close. So he needs to keep the distance going. He's rolling with that punch, so that's fine, but...
Well, one thing to watch is footwork. So there's a lot of galloping happening for the French fighter. And what I mean by galloping is his feet will come together when he moves. So his feet get really close together, and he kind of gets hung up like he did there. Yeah. You can get off balance, you can get knocked down. So watch the footwork. The footwork for Leo is actually a lot better. He has a wider stance. His knees are bent. His power is coming from his hips. And now he's overwhelming the French fighter. I think a lot of it is footwork. He's using his body a lot better. He's moving a lot better. He's shutting down the space and pushing his opponent into corners, which this is one of another great analogy between boxing and chess is ring generalship and controlling squares on the board. If you control the 4 center squares on the chessboard, you can force your opponent into corners. You can force them to do things that they don't want to do. Leo just showed how you can do the same thing in boxing, controlling the center of the ring, pushing your opponent into the ropes or into corners, and then being able to have your way with them.
He's doing a bit of a tortoise there. That's my technique. You just wrap up and put the helmet on.
Is that the new ring name? Are you
Carl
the tortoise?
I think I'm going to have another veto on that.
Okay,
I'm full of vetoes.
No death metal and no tortoises. Got it. Rules have been established. All right, big right hand goes just over the head. The French fighter, good timing again on that duck.
Yeah, he's doing very well when the head movement is fine. It's the footwork he has to work on.
No, his feet are flat. He's on his heels. He just went into a neutral stance, which knocked him back into the ropes. The biggest area for improvement right now is for the French fighter is the footwork.
Definitely. But as long as he's keeping his distance, he's doing it, and he is actually
his right hand's coming down when he throws his jab too. Leo saw it and landed a jab and then a left hook of his own when he saw that right hand come down again. He keeps throwing that hook now. It's slow. It's predictable. Another wrap up. We got to be getting close to the end of this round.
Have to be.
There's the 10 seconds. Like I planned that.
Definitely. But
big left hook lands right cross down the center. Leo winning the end of the round. It looked like a stumble, not ruled a knockdown.
That looked like a stunt.
And there we go. Yeah, he pulled that off well.
Yeah.
That went on another couple of seconds, so that might have been a knockdown. Leo, I think, clearly won that boxing round. Much better footwork, much better pacing. I think cleaner shots landed. I do think a build like Leo's, he's a very muscular, very cut guy. I think sometimes those muscles kind of get in the way of fluidity and agility. So the French fighter was able to see a lot of those big, heavy shots coming and roll underneath them and almost use them against him. So when the French fighter had success in that round, Pierre was able to find shots or holes after the shots of Leo. So the big left hook would go slow over the head, and then Pierre would be able to sidestep and land a right.
The other big problem of muscles being fatigue. It just takes too much out of you. And even maybe here, now this is where the science will one day illuminate us. For the moment, we don't know much about it because there's been no scientists interested in chess boxing. But even during these rounds of chess, maybe a bigger muscle would give you more fatigue. Maybe the recuperation isn't as good, and a lot of heavy breathing on both parts.
Yeah, there's so much experimentation left to do in chess boxing. To your point, I've never thought about leaning on my arms in between rounds, but it makes a ton of sense. Mm-hmm. And prior to my competing in 2018, breathwork was not commonly practiced, and I haven't seen a fighter actively, consciously do breathwork in between rounds yet here. But both of those things are little tricks from experience that have helped both of us immensely in our own ways when we've competed that I think people will continue to pick up up and continue to iterate upon and evolve the sport.
I definitely believed that I was doing breath work in my last fight, and then I watched it, and then I realized that I must be doing something else. Watching
film is a potent mirror to look into, man. It's a good way to know how you're truly doing, and I hope all of our fighters that come to this World Championship watch this back with the kind eyes of a student. Not being too hard on themselves, but also picking themselves apart to be able to see what they can improve.
Well, we always have room for improvement. That's one of the things I like with chess boxing, is that you could be world champion all you want. There's always going to be a better boxer out there. There's always going to be a better chess player.
Absolutely.
So we have to remain humble.
Especially as the sport evolves. We saw 2 fighters earlier today, one a pro boxer, one with over 100 amateur fights. And just, the more people getting attracted to the sport that have a lot of experience, either in chess acumen, lifelong chess players, high ELO, or lifelong boxers. And sometimes a scary combination of both.
Well, this is where it's interesting, is that because it's still new, we're still discovering facets of it. You could have an artistic kind of exhibition fight. You can have like a pro boxer fight. You could have 2 grandmasters going at it. The matchmaking is obviously important.
Yeah.
So, and it's true that in these type of competitions, we get something else. We get more of a confrontation of styles of a chess player against a boxer, and sometimes the levels are a little bit, too far apart.
That's right. Such an interesting position here. We just saw Rook come off the board. It looks like the French fighter is sacrificing his bishop now.
Is that a bishop?
Yeah.
Okay. It looked like a queen. It was big. But it would have been a weird sacrifice. That is the queen.
I think queen. I think
so the queen's at the bishop spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Bishop was doing work. So giving up the doubled rooks.
Look at the time, though. There's 14 seconds on the clock for Leo.
He's just moving quick. That's why he's sacrificing pieces.
Yeah. Oh, and it's 11 seconds, and it's a 10-second. Is it going to make the second?
He's just got to keep moving.
He'll never make it, obviously.
Moving. Yeah.
Obviously, it's not going to...
We're going to see another boxing round, ladies and gentlemen. Woo, buddy. 4 seconds left on the clock. Leo knows exactly what he needs to do. Just like his German teammate, he has to win this in this boxing round. There is no other option. 4 seconds on the clock. There is no clear checkmate on the board. This needs to be won in the ring. So Leo right now is talking to his coach. He's looking him in the eyes. He's knowing that, and he's getting told, this is your shot. This is it right now. If you want to keep going in this chess boxing world championship, it comes down to this.
Well, the thing is, it's like for the Frenchman, it's extremely difficult psychologically, because he knew it was only 5 seconds away. He could have been the winner, announced the winner right now if it wouldn't have been for 5 seconds. And so to come back from that, he might be doing a lot of backpedaling, trying to just get away, but that was his strategy in the first round anyway. So what will it change anything? I'm not sure. But okay, psyching up I think is good. Psyching up is good.
Yeah. Red needs to be very mobile. He needs to stay away and play defense. Defense is the name of the game in this round. He cannot let Leo back him into corners like he was last round. This is where footwork is really, really going to come in handy. If he's able to take lateral steps and not just steps back, he's going to be able to circle and stay away from ropes, stay away from corners, and use this big ring to his advantage.
Well, sometimes the second round is so much easier than the first round, just because somehow you've digested mentally what's actually going on. And sometimes I box terribly in the first round, and then in the second round I'm actually not doing so badly.
So good few jabs right out of the gate from the French fighter, but now Leo has found his range. He's coming forward. He's coming forward with his guard down. This is baiting shots from the French fighter. He wants the French fighter to punch him. That might sound counterintuitive to someone who's new to boxing, but the reason why that's important is if you take risk, you encourage your opponent to take risk. If your hands are down, you're baiting a shot in so that they throw their hands, which means their hands are no longer defending themselves. So Leo is okay eating a shot to land a bigger shot.
But for the moment, it's working against him because he is eating a few shots without really landing much in response.
Yeah, and I have seen a power jab, I have seen an overhand right, but overall, the first 45 seconds of this round have not yielded much for Leo yet. He needs to get busier. He needs to take a page out of Hassan's book from last fight and come forward.
This is where the muscles and the fatigue. I believe he's fatigued because of his muscles at this point. That's
Could
what
be.
Because we could see it's not the same stamina. There's nothing really left on those punches to really worry about, even if they do land.
Yeah, and French fighter is just covering. He's taking a page out of the tortoise book, so which I think is smart for him. But there we go, some big shots now starting to get through the guard. We saw 2 shots. Oh,
that wasn't a stoppage. That was just saying, keep your head up. Okay.
Some good body shots. Finally, I was waiting for some body shots because the guard is so high for the French fighter. He's just covering up his ears and his forehead, and there's holes right down under the ribs, and those shots hurt, arguably more than headshots.
There's been a slight change of pace here. The French boxer is eating a lot now.
Good, clean jab right through the guard. A good uppercut lands. First uppercut I've seen of the World Championship. Granted, I've only been here 2 fights, but... and we see blood from the nose of the French fighter, and exacerbating it more. Another power jab lands right on that nose.
Keep on moving. Keep on moving. If you want to win this, you have to keep on moving, even if you're not throwing.
There is zero offense. He is literally just trying to last through the round. I mean, the French fighter is doing absolutely no offense at all at this point.
Well, I definitely can't throw the first stone.
But
even
if your game plan is being defensive, giving your opponent something to think about, a safe jab, a flick jab, something to have to work through, and not just throw these big shots. Another great duck by our French fighter, right underneath that big looping hook.
He does that very well, actually.
Yeah.
On the flip side of that, sometimes
10
he
seconds
ducks
left
when there's nothing happening, and that's where he can get the uppercut.
It all comes down to this. There's 5 seconds.
He's going to make it.
It needs to be a big shot right now from Leo, and it's done. French fighter.
Wow.
All but one. I mean, all he needed to do was survive. I'm feeling echoes of my 2019 World Championship tournament where I needed to knock out my opponent. I didn't get it done. I got 2 knockdowns in a round, and he stumbled to the corner with a big smile on his face, knowing he weathered the storm, and he was a few moves away from checkmate. And I think that Pierre has the same exact thought going through his head. He gets to have his way with Leo however he wants when he makes it back to that chessboard in just a few seconds.
A very good performance by both.
Absolutely, a lot of improvement from Leo. I'm really impressed seeing his better footwork, seeing him set up shots, seeing him being able to land power punches. I think all of those things were lacking in his May fight, where he's come such a long way to show up to this World Championship. I think he should be proud.
Well, it's not over yet. We can't sell the bear's fur before we shoot it.
Like they say, the headphones are back on, the hands are shaking, and there it is. Timeout. Game over. France advances through the 75-kilogram bracket in the World Championship tournament. Great sportsmanship from both fighters. So Germany takes fight number 1, and France takes fight number 2 in this France versus Germany duo fight combo.
Little derby there going on.
Oh, very impressed, and we're about to get the official decision, but we all know it's coming from the referee here in Riccione, Italy. Love seeing the French team, how supportive they are, everyone chanting, cheering, celebrating their teammates. France really is putting on a clinic for how to build a team in this chess boxing world, how to travel together, train together, and lift each other up when both when they win and when they fall short.
Well, there's only 4 major nations represented. France. Oh, okay, hang on. There's France, Germany, Russia, Turkey. These are and India.
I mean, yeah.